Statement, and I'll give the floor to the representative of Germany.
Thank you, Madam President. I thank Assistant Secretary General Judy Cheng-Hopkins and Ambassador Lucas for their detailed briefings. This is a welcome opportunity to take stock of the peace-building agenda and to follow up on its implementation. We share the analysis that progress has been achieved in various fields since last year's progress report of the Secretary General. However, to deliver on commitments and to further enhance impact on the ground require our undivided attention and continued support. This includes the need for continuous adaptation of peace building to changing and evolving circumstances in countries emerging from conflict. It is against this backdrop that I would like to focus my remarks on three priority areas. First, the need to further develop and clarify the scope and mode of action of the PBC. Second, the implementation of the civilian capacities review. And third, the strengthening of women's participation in peace building. First, with regard to the Peacebuilding Commission. While the addition of countries to the PBC's agenda over the past years approves the membership's acknowledgement of and faith in the PBC, focus needs to be given to developing strategies allowing countries for graduating from the PBC's agenda and, if needed, for a lighter form of engagement. And Mrs. Cheng-Hopkins elaborated on this point as well. As we witness an increasing inclusion of peace building into national poverty reduction strategies in countries like Burundi and Sierra Leone, we also need a common understanding of the role the PBC can realistically play to further promote peace building at that stage. The PBC should help support the relevant actors to come to a common vision. It should make sure that the stakeholders focus on agreed and shared priorities. It should help countries to address obstacles to peace building and get clear commitments from the government and the international community on the implementation of the peace-building agenda. The Commission should raise awareness. It must not be reduced to the role of a fundraiser. Moreover, enhancing partnerships with international financial institutions and major regional actors in order to help build coherence remains a critical task. In this context, we welcome the increased interaction and cooperation with the World Bank. In our view, this collaboration should also be deepened on the ground. The established interaction with the group of fragile states G7+ is also a positive step. A mutual understanding on how the PBC can best support the implementation of the Monrovia Roadmap of June 2011 needs to be achieved. Greater clarity on how the PBC can contribute to the high-level forum on aid effectiveness in Busan in November 2011 and its follow-up is also needed. My second point relates to the implementation of the civilian capacities review. Making civilian capacity available in an effective, appropriate, and timely manner to support peace building in conflict-affected countries is the best way to secure national ownership and to render peace and reconstruction sustainable. We therefore welcome the Secretary General's report on civilian capacity in the aftermath of conflict and its approach to adjust and make better use of existing resources within the UN to that end. We advocate concrete steps towards strengthening and using national, international, and UN capabilities in post-conflict situations without delay. South Sudan should be a starting point. Critical needs, notably the establishment of government institutions and justice, need to be addressed swiftly. Attention should be paid to identifying and supporting effectively national capacities, including the capacities of the diasporas. My third point regards the strengthening of women's participation in peacebuilding. Fostering women's engagement in peacebuilding requires integrating this effort into all activities and providing dedicated funding for women's needs. One crucial point in this context is clarity, comparability, and consistency across the UN in monitoring the impact of its programming related to gender issues. We therefore agree with the necessity mentioned in the recent Secretary General's report on women, peace and security to develop within the next year consistent means of tracking and reporting on spending for gender equality and women's empowerment. The UN presence in conflict and post-conflict situations should strive to achieve greater coherence. Sector-specific gender expertise is needed for effective implementation of women, peace and security objectives. Madam President, while several countries appear to be graduating from fragility, there's scope to maximize the impact of peace building by further developing its strategic approach and by bridging the policy-practice gap. We stand ready to work to that end with the countries emerging from conflict, the UN, and all relevant stakeholders. I thank you, Madam President.
I thank the representative of Germany for his statement.